Hello and welcome to everyone, and thank you for being with us for the first session in our series for the year 2026 of JCoR SDG Labs. And some of you have been preparing with us for this series of conversations since January of this year. And so you are very familiar with the forum around which this lab is being organized. But for anyone who may be less familiar, we join you to this series, which will be happening all week as a response of a kind from our community, which is the Justice Coalition of Religious, to a very recent UN conference known as the High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development. My name is Teresa Blumenstein, and I am one of the global coordinators of the Justice Coalition of Religious, and it is my pleasure and my privilege to be able to facilitate this session of the SDG Lab in order to share with you all some of the insights, the perspectives, and some of the good practices that are being brought forward by our global community of Catholic religious sisters, priests, brothers, and their lay partners in mission. And today we will take as our theme or our central focus one of the Sustainable Development Goals that is a priority or a focus for this year's High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development, which is goal number 6, to ensure access to safe drinking water and sanitation for all people. And today we will all have the pleasure of hearing from several members of our global community who will share with us their own perspectives. In some cases, they will offer a critique of the report that their own government recently presented about their national progress toward the achievement of this goal. And in some cases, they will be sharing a good practice that represents a contribution of their own congregation toward the achievement of this goal. So you can see on the screen now that today we will be hearing from Ferdinand Monley, a lay associate of the Congregations of St. Joseph, who joins us from Norway, Ms. Sanu Susalome de Media, a lay partner of the Claretian Missionaries in Burkina Faso, Sister Miriam Nkole, a Dominican missionary sister of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, joining us from Zambia, Father Yameogo Sibi Basile, who is a Claretian missionary, joining us also from Burkina Faso, and Sister Ana Helena Andreao, a religious of the Sacred Heart of Mary, who joins us from Brazil. So, without further delay or introduction, it is my pleasure to invite the sharing of Ferdinand, who once again is a lay associate with the Congregations of St. Joseph, and who will be offering us some insights about clean water and sanitation in Norway. So Ferdinand, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Good. Well, thank you, Teresa, for your kind introduction and the possibility to present what we have worked about in this nice workshop. In a way, it is this lecture is a summary of what we have introduced with the Norwegian NGOs. And they already had a very good concept, which was not very different from last time when Norway presented something. So we presented some examples from this lecture, and they said, okay, we will introduce it, but in the end, there was no time to really do that. So in a way, it was more or less the same text, but the content is very much the same of these presentations, and you will see that we have a very high level, which is good, but there is still work to do. So we start with the presentation, which I called Status, Challenges, and Opportunities in Norway. And I should get the first. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to use the mouse. Yeah. Okay. No.
Try that. No.
Okay, we can try here. It's really. I tried this. Trying to move to the next slide. That is really slide control. Yeah, this. Yeah, do that. What? No.
No. Where could it be? Remote control. Let's see.
No, it shouldn't be.
Why can't we do that? What's
Maybe an arrow key on your keyboard if the mouse is not working.
We tried that. No. And not on the. No, something is. No, I think it's not that one. Okay. No, pause not.
Only see slide control.
We cannot move the slides here either, so it's.
We give you access to the screen or to our PC, Teresa. Teresa is controlling your screen. Okay.
Okay. Can you move the slides?
We don't hear anything. But she's trying something.
Seeing if I can.
Yeah.
If not, maybe just start the presentation if you have it, and move it from your device.
We don't see the presentation. I think I have done something which was not so good.
We see the presentation. We see it on 3 screens, but
Yeah. Perhaps we should stop them.
yeah, you can try that. Everything should be here.
What's layout? No.
Yeah, stop the screens.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just try sharing yours again and see if we get
Yeah.
control again.
So where are we now? Share.
Share. There. Okay, share. Okay. Now we have to.
What do you see? Oh,
Yeah, but you have to start the presentation down here. Okay. Yeah, now it works. Is it?
Okay, that looks good.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Next one. Okay, can you remove?
I don't know how.
Oh, okay. Yes, here. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The menu bar was on the headline. I don't know
No
the
problem. It
presentation
looks perfect now.
that well. Know it by heart. No, okay. Well, Norway is a beautiful country, and yet there is work to do. This is very important to tell, because if you criticize anything here, most people say, "Do you think it's not good?" uh, of course, it's good, but it could be better, and it's not just better because someone has an idea how it could be better. It's really some parts of the creation are really suffering, and therefore it's not good enough. So, well, when it comes to water quality, with very good reasons, Norway is perceived as clean and balanced. But good enough is here. Good enough is no option as long as identified sources of pollutions are ignored and parts of our beautiful environment are suffering. The main reason is governance and coordination issues. You can talk about fragmented governance across municipalities, which are the smallest units to do something. State authorities and private actors who want to do something, which complicates decision making and which delays improvement. And sometimes you feel also that there is a lack of motivation, and we think that the most important element of Ignatian spirituality for the greater glory of God is a motivation to remove shortcomings in SDG 6.2, even if the general water quality already is excellent. Inadequate wastewater treatment is the major reason for pollution in fjords and lakes. And we have, in principle, four main pollution sources. It's the municipal wastewater, which comes from all of us in a way. We have industrial and aquaculture activities. We have agricultural runoff, and we have aging infrastructure. Municipal wastewater shouldn't be a problem, and for very many municipalities, it's not a problem at all. But for some, it is, because they have old-fashioned technology, and in a way, the water which is released usually into the sea, into the fjord, is not as clean as it could be. Same is true for industrial activities. It's not the old thing 50 years ago, but it might be some some release from mining, which it's uncertain if it is pollution or not, and therefore it's not strictly regulated. And of course, from aquaculture activities, salmon culturing, for instance, the big cages with 100,000, 200,000 of fishes. One of them has the same production of pollution as small Norwegian cities around between 20,000 and 50,000 people. And if you just look in one fjord, you often see 10, 15, 20 of these cages. Then you have the agricultural runoff, which is a problem. It rains a lot, and therefore the wastewater treatment cannot take everything which comes from the additional water. And of course, we have the aging infrastructure. The environmental impact is of course due to nitrogen and phosphorus. That is the main problem, which causes algal blooms, and the algae, they need a lot of oxygen, and this is in competition to other marine life, so they damage in a way other marine life. We have financial and political barriers because it's high costs, of course. Everything costs money, and there is political reluctance to face the problem, to do something, partly for political reasons, that you have a local government which is under pressure for other things and things like that. So it's not very big. It's not very big barriers, but high enough to delay the removal of water pollution sources. Despite of available technology, it's not that someone needs to develop a good solution. It's just to take the money into the hand and install what is already available. Well, in a way, we have to say that Norway is a rich country, but the smallest units, municipalities, often are not very rich, and they have to save money wherever they can. And this is also one reason why such investments are not given priority. Well, and there's a need for stronger enforcement. We need demanding goals because then it's also more easy to get things done. It's again this we are satisfied with what we have, and of course, in a way, there are few issues where people get sick due to wastewater. It happens from time to time. But it's more this demanding goal should be Norway is a rich country, and we don't need to have this kind of problems. We could do better. Untreated and poorly treated sewage discharges, that is the main problem. I already mentioned that some cleaning system have low effect. We have climate change, which needs to increased rainfall. And increased rainfall means that at a certain within a short time we get a lot of surface water, which needs to be taken up by small creeks or small rivers, but which also need to be it also needs to be in the normal water treatment. If it is already in nature, it is in a way then nature has to do the work. You couldn't do anything with that. But on the one hand, if there is a lot of this surface water coming into creeks and rivers, it's a problem. And on the other hand, the capacity of the treatment is blown because it's not built for this amount of water, but only for a short time. That's the problem. And before we didn't have these problems so often. So something has to be done there. And then, of course, some systems are outdated. I mentioned that sometimes you have also leaks in drinking water supply, and normally it's not that it's easy that impurities come into the drinking water, but if there is a leak that drinking water is coming out of a pipe, there is also a possibility that other things get into the pipe, and that is a problem with old pipes which need to be renewed. In Oslo, the capital, they do a lot of work, started 10 years ago and still not finished, to substitute the pipes. Yeah, and there is a need for policy and investment, and we need stronger compliance incentives. And it's also, as I mentioned, Norway is a rich country. There is income from oil and gas, which should be used for getting rid of these problems. I know that every politician will tell me or tell us it's not so easy, but the point is it's easy. It could be easy. It's just a matter of ambition and definition. What is a problem? Yeah. Yeah, the agriculture problem. I mentioned that already. Maybe what is important to know here is that that you could do the fish farming onshore, not offshore. Sounds a little bit strange, but the point is that then you can clean the water. Of course, you need some space on an island or wherever, but you get a closed system which you can control, and you would avoid the pollution. And some people or some companies have started to do this, so we will see if this really becomes more and more standard. And it's also the economic benefits often outweigh environmental costs, which means that you can earn money by causing problems with the environment. You don't have to pay for what you destroy, and that's always it's not good enough regulated. We all know this from other parts of our lives. Well, and also a little bit more in detail of the agricultural. I think I come close to the end. So in principle, the most important thing is yeah, of course we need to try to slow down the climate change, maybe reverse what is already done. But on the other hand, we cannot just rely on that and say, okay, we do not make it, and then we get a lot of trouble. We also need to see how can we avoid the trouble or the impact of the climate changes. And of course, we could build up facilities which can take more water just for a short time, and then it is cleaned in after some time. So it's not necessary to have it have a very high volume all the time, and there are solutions for that. And of course, also the use of fertilizers can be optimized. And one smart thing, which I think is really smart, is that you're close to rivers and creeks. You don't have active farming. You just have flowers and grass, and people get money for that, and that is a natural nice barrier to stop the runoff of fertilizers. And yes, of course, the problems, of course, as already mentioned, with the wastewater challenges is in the end the drinking water risk. There is good control, of course, with water cleaning, with several procedures. But if there is too much, if there's a peak pollution, it sometimes it's too much, and that is also the point where investment is needed, is that capacity needs to be increased, and of course old pipes need to be substituted. Yes, this is already the last slide. As I said in the beginning, Norway is a beautiful country. It still is, even after this lecture. And this is with very good reasons. The country is perceived as clean and balanced in relation to water quality, but yet there is work to do. I shouldn't say but I should say and this is on the slide, and yet there is work to do. Water pollution remains a challenge in Norway, despite of strong institutions facing the problem and advanced technology. And the main problem is structural and political barriers. Main barriers to water quality improvements are structural issues and political and/or financial fragmentation. The political will is not there, or the money is not where it should be. And there is a need for effective management, clear accountability on what is done and what is improved or destroyed, enforcement, and true cost financing are essential for effective water management. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you very much, Ferdinand, for that great overview, for bringing us to Norway and helping us to appreciate the beauty alongside the ongoing work. And I am very grateful that we are beginning with a country like Norway in our discussion today, because I think too often we have this sense or an impulse to divide the world into quote developed countries and quote developing countries. And your presentation reminds us to change that framework in our minds, to remember that, yes, our nations are beautiful. And in fact, I think every person here from whatever country they are joining would agree that their country has so much beauty and natural wealth, and are doing some things very well. And at the same time, we are all developing. None of us has fully achieved even the vision of the Sustainable Development Goals in a complete way. And we all have work to do. And you have highlighted some very clear examples of the particular challenges that are present in the watersheds and rivers and aquaculture and sanitation systems of Norway, and provided some clear solutions. But I also want to highlight your optimistic attitude. As for those who do not know, Ferdinand has a background in science. And is a professional scientist. And so when he offers his insight that it is not so difficult as politicians would have us believe, that really carries some weight. It carries some meaning to know that those with technical knowledge are telling us the problem can be solved, the work can be done, and it is not as complicated or as impossible as our political leaders might tell us or have us believe. So we should insist on doing what is possible and remember that much more is possible. So an encouraging and important beginning for us. Thank you very much, Ferdinand, for all of that great insight. And now we will go to our next speaker, Ms. Sue Salome Dimidia Sanu, who is a lay collaborator, a partner of the Claretian missionaries in Burkina Faso. So, Ms. Sanu, you have the floor.
Salomé, vous pouvez éteindre votre caméra et parler, s'il vous plaît.
He's
Parce que Salomé a des problèmes
speaking
de
with
connexion.
Salome,
Il
saying that
il
Salome
est
has
son
problems
téléphone.
of connections and
Salomé,
she is from
vous
her
êtes ici?
telephone. So Henry is talking to Salome, asking her if she's here. Henry is asking Salome if she's here.
Salomé,
Henry, Salome is here, but she is unable to. So you carry on. You can kindly read the presentation.
Ok. J'ai le plaisir de parler
So
au nom de Salomé
this is my
parce
pleasure to
qu'elle a
speak on
beaucoup
behalf
de
of Salome
difficultés
because
pour se
she
connecter.
has a difficulty
Et elle vit
for her
dans une
internet
région rurale
connection.
avec beaucoup de problèmes de
She
connexion
lives
et
in a
aussi
rural area,
d'électricité.
and
C'est
that's a
pour
normal
cela que
situation there. The
je
problems with
vais lire
electricity
les
and
textes
internet. That's why I will
qu'elle
read
a
her
préparés pour
presentation
cette session.
that she prepared for this
Et
occasion.
bonsoir, chers
So, good
participants
morning
et chères
to
participantes.
all the participants.
Je suis
I
Sanu
am
Sou
Sanu
Salomé
Su Salome
Dimidia,
Dimidia.
laïque missionnaire claretin,
I am lay
sous
and
dénomination
missionary
Saint John
serving
Paul au
at
Burkina Faso.
St.
Nous sommes
John
présents dans
Paul
la
in
diocèse
Burkina Faso.
de
We are active
Koudou
in the
et
diocese
les
of
diocèses
Kogudu
de
and
Gawa.
the diocese
Notre
of
mission
Kaura.
nous conduit
Our mission
auprès des
leads us to
populations
serve
les
the
plus
most
vulnérables
vulnerable
au
communities.
l'accès de l'eau potable
Where an access to
demeure
safe
un
drinking
défi
water
quotidien.
remains a daily
Pour
challenge. For us,
l'eau, c'est un
water
droit
is a fundamental
fondamental
right
et une condition
and an essential
essentielle
condition
pour une
for
ville
a
digne.
life of
De
dignity.
nos jours, beaucoup de villages
Today, many
ne
villages
disposent pas,
still lack
toujours
access
pas
to
de
safe
l'eau potable.
drinking water.
Les femmes et les enfants
Women and
parcourent
children
de longues
travel
distances
long
à la
distances
recherche
in
de l'eau
search
potable,
of safe
avec
drinking water,
souvent de longues
often
files
waiting
d'attente
in long
pendant
lines
2
for
heures.
hours.
L'eau,
The
souvent,
water
est
is frequently
insalubre.
unsafe,
C'est peut
which can
entraîner
lead
des
to
maladies,
illness
des difficultés d'hygiène, l'abcès
or
dans
poor
l'école et une perte de temps et d'énergie.
or school absences and a waste
Face
of
à cette
time and
situation,
energy. In
les
response to this
projets
situation, the
pompe
water
à l'eau
we have a
interviennent
project
pour
that is
que chaque
water
village
pump,
puisse
and this project
disposer
aims to
d'un
ensure
moins
that every
une
village
pompe
has at least
demain
one pump
un accès
providing
facile
easy
à l'eau
access
potable.
to safe drinking water.
Nous
We
identifions les
identify
villages les
the
plus
most
touchés
affected
en
villages
réalisant des forages,
by drilling
en
wells,
installant des
installing
pompes
pumps,
et les sensibilisant
raising
sur l'hygiène
awareness
et
about
l'enseignement
hygiene
et
and
l'accompagnement
sanitation,
la
and
communauté
supporting the
dans la
community
gestion
in
de
managing
ces
its
infrastructures.
infrastructure.
Un des aspects de
One of
notre
the key
projet,
aspects of our
c'est
project
sa
it
pérennité dans la
is
plupart des villages où
sustainability.
nous avons
In most of the
installé les pompes.
villages
Les
where we have
populations ont
installed
vu
pumps,
leur quotidien
residents have
changer.
seen their daily
Aujourd'hui,
lives
chaque
change.
communauté
Today,
gère
each
elle-même
community
son
manages
pot
its
de l'eau.
own water
Les
source.
habitants contribuent soit quotidien, soit mensuellement à un fonds
Residents contribute
communautaire
either daily or monthly
destiné
to a
à
community
assurer
fund
l'entretien et
intended
la
to
réparation
cover
de la pompe.
the maintenance and repairs of the pump.
Grâce à ces projets,
And thanks to
des
these
familles disposent
projects,
d'une
families have
eau
access
potable
to safe
à
drinking water
proximité.
nearby,
Les maladies liées
and
à l'eau
waterborne
diminuent.
diseases are
Les
decreasing
conditions d'hygiène
and
s'améliorent.
hygiene
En
conditions are
plus de
improving,
cela, s'ajoute la
and
fréquentation
children are
régulière des
attending
enfants
schools
dans les écoles.
regularly,
Les femmes gagnent en
and women are gaining precious time
précieuses
for their
pour leurs
family and
activités
economic activities.
familiales économiques. De
And
l'on
as a
voit une
result, we
communauté
see a
qui
community
vit
living with
dignement.
dignity.
Une simple pompe
A
transforme
single pump
tout un village.
transforms an entire village.
Malgré nos efforts,
Despite
beaucoup
our
de défis
efforts,
restent
many
encore
challenges
à révéler,
remain,
notamment la manque de
including a
ressources
lack of
financières,
financial
les
resources,
effets
the
du
effects
changement
of
climatique,
climate
les besoins
change,
croissants
and
des
the growing
populations.
needs of the
Ainsi,
population.
nous constatons
As a result,
un
we
nombreux
see
villages
that
attendent
many
encore
villages are
un
still waiting
accès à l'eau
for
potable.
access to safe drinking water.
L'eau potable n'est
Safe
pas seulement
drinking water
une question
is not
d'infrastructure,
just a matter
c'est une
of
question de
infrastructure.
santé,
It
de
is a matter of
dignité
health,
humaine,
human
de justice
dignity,
et de développement
justice,
durable.
and sustainable
À
development.
travers ce projet, nous
Through this
contribuons
project, we are
concrètement à la
making a
réalisation
concrete
de l'objectif
contribution
de développement
to
durable
achieving Sustainable
6,
Development Goal
garantir
6,
l'accès de toute
ensuring
l'eau
access
potable
to safe
et à
drinking water
l'enseignement.
and sanitation for
Nos
all.
revues est simple.
Our dream is
Chacun
simple,
village ne
that
soit
no
privé
village
d'eau
be
potable.
deprived of safe
Nous
drinking
invitons
water. We
tous les
invite
partenaires,
all partners,
les
organizations,
organisations et les personnes
and
de
people of
bonne volonté
goodwill to
à
join us
poursuivre ce
on this
chemin
journey
avec nous,
so
afin
that
que chaque
every
source d'eau
water source
devienne une
may
source de
become
vie,
a source of
d'espérance
life,
et de
of hope,
développement pour
and
les
development
communautés.
for communities.
Un message à la fin.
There is
Un
a key
message
message to
clé
remember
pour
here.
retenir. Chaque pompe
Every
installée
pump
ne fournit pas
installed
seulement de
does
l'eau.
more than
Elle
just
apporte
providing
la
water.
santé,
It
la
brings
dignité,
health,
l'éducation,
dignity,
la responsabilité
education,
communautaire et
community
l'espérance.
responsibility, and hope.
Communauté prend
When a
en
community
charge
takes
son propre
charge
point
of its
d'eau,
own water source,
elle ne
it
reçoit
receives
pas
more
seulement
than
une
just
infrastructure,
infrastructure.
elle construit
It
son
builds
avenir.
its future.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank
Merci
you
beaucoup.
very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, first of all, to Ms. Sanu for your insights and your sharing. And we are sorry that we were not able to see your face and hear your voice. And at the same time, we are very grateful to Henry for lending his voice so that we were able to learn from you today. And you have helped us to understand the very interconnected way that goal number 6 touches every aspect of development. And to highlight for us that, of course, while any human, any real living creature can readily understand the importance of clean water, as it is something we need more often than anything but air, that it is also affecting every other aspect of our life that we hold dear. And in this case, so many aspects of development, of other sustainable development goals. As you said, that every pump is not simply providing water, but with good water, providing health, dignity, the possibility of education, for women in particular, the possibility of personal development and time in the day to consider oneself and what she needs, and perhaps also what her community needs. The possibility for communities to take some control, some ownership of their own future and their own development, and to build it together. There are much larger developments in play when we talk about introducing access to clean water. And so your work there in Burkina Faso is so valuable and so important. You intervene at the point of water, and yet the effects are vast and diverse in terms of all of the different ways you contribute to development. So thank you again for your insight and your participation. And we know you are with us, and we are grateful for your presence, and we thank you for sharing your words, and we also thank Henry for sharing them with us. And now we will go to our next speaker, who is Sister Miriam Nkole, who is a Dominican missionary sister of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And she will be speaking to us about clean water and sanitation in Zambia. So, Sister Miriam, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, and greetings, everyone. I'm trying to see the possibility of sharing my screen. Are you able to see it?
We do not see it yet. Oh, here it comes. It is appearing now.
Okay. So greetings once more. I am Sister Miriam Nkole from Zambia, a Dominican missionary sister. Zambia is located in the southern central part of Africa. For those of us who are not sure of where Zambia is. So I will present my personal observation on water and sanitation in Zambia. In Zambia, water and sanitation are daily matters of survival and dignity. In many urban areas, we see progress, but in rural places, the struggle is still very real, like the place where I'm serving as at now. In the communities where we minister to, as Dominican missionary sisters of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, I have seen families fetch water and use water directly from the rivers. The same rivers are used for washing, cooking, and drinking. The people we minister to also use water from rivers and unprotected wells. In schools, many children use pit latrines, and in some places where there are no toilets at all, children go to the bush to ease themselves. This leads to sicknesses, missed school days, and shame, especially for the girl child. Among several communities located in places where we serve, like Kavunda village, located in Massa district of Luapula province, here, people fetch water and sanitation challenges. These challenges manifest in the following areas. Number one, water access difficulties and water quality safety. Many residents have to walk long distances or rely on shallow wells, which are highly susceptible to contamination during the rainy season. The second point, inadequate infrastructure. In Kavunda, to be specific, where I am right now, there are only 3 available boreholes in the community, serving a population of over 10,000 people. These existing boreholes face challenges such as breakdowns due to overuse and drying annually. And this challenge is faced by many communities in rural areas of Zambia as well. The third point is lack of sanitation facilities and poor practices. Widespread open defecations, about 25,846 people still practice open defecation. Waste still in open pit mines, where we have people from different places without proper shelter and with poor water and sanitation. Improper fecal waste management, about 71% of households lack improved sanitation facilities, such as ventilated, improved pit latrines, lack of sewer system network, hence emptying of waste in undesignated places, and drainage systems. The environmental and infrastructure issues. The first point we have is water pollution. Mining waste, sewage, and chemicals contaminate rivers, especially on the Copper Belt and northern provinces. The old infrastructure, that is leaking pipes, broken pipes, and there is no maintenance budget for them. We have climate change. Droughts and floods make water less predictable. The last point is high cost. Many households cannot afford treated water or to repair boreholes. Due to the highlighted challenges above, most communities in rural areas are prone to high prevalence of diarrhea, typhoid, dysentery, and bilharzia. The lack of running water has hampered the delivery of self-maternity services, translating into higher mother and child deaths. So we have just few pictures here of us fetching some water from the river. We have rivers here. We have many water bodies, and that's where we run to get water to use for household chores. The sisters and the children themselves are involved in raising awareness on water and sanitation through songs, drama, and home visits. They teach communities about hand washing, protecting water sources, and hygiene. My second part is the Dominican Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart of Jesus contributing to SDG 6 in Zambia. So, what we are doing as sisters, the Dominican Sisters of the Sacred Heart of Jesus serve in some of the most water-stressed rural areas of Zambia. Our ministry directly contributes to SDG 6 by bringing clean water, safe sanitation, and education. So there we have a picture of people fetching water from the hand pump. So what are we doing? What are we doing as sisters? Number one, providing clean water in rural areas. In Wapla Province, Northern Province, Copperbelt Province, and Muchinga Province, we are working hard to source funds and drill boreholes for villages that currently depend on rivers. Where boreholes are not yet possible, we teach water purification and protection of river sources. The second point is building safe and washable toilets. The sisters are constructing washable toilets in hospitals and schools. This replaces open defecation and unsafe pit latrines in schools. This means children, especially girls, can stay in class with some dignity. So there we have the construction of the washable toilets. Actually, we're renovating some rooms as well, so that at least we have some dignity. So the third point is school wash program. We support Catholic institutions and community schools with hand washing stations, hygiene education, and menstrual health talks. Our goal is that no child misses school because of water or poor sanitation. Fourth, community awareness and collaboration. The sisters and the children are at the forefront of awareness campaigns. We work with the government and local leaders to ensure our projects align with national wash standards. The fifth point is we care for creation. Laudato Si, which means care for creation. We also teach tree planting around water points and proper waste disposal to protect our rivers and groundwater. Impact and need. Thousands of people in Zambia still walk long distances for river water. Our borehole and toilet projects are changing lives, but the need is greater than our current resources. Every borehole and toilet means fewer cases of diarrhea, more children in school, and more dignity for families. We have the challenge of funding gap and then poor waste management. In conclusion, the work of the Dominican sisters show that faith must be practical. In places where we are present, we are not just preaching about water. We are digging for it, protecting it, and teaching people how to use it well. To achieve SDG 6 in Zambia, we need more boreholes, more washable toilets, more education, and more partnerships. Let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. John chapter 7, verse 37. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Sister Miriam. What an incredible, I want to say it's not just one project, but a whole series of projects. You are, in a way, providing what we often in the UN world is called like a wraparound project, wraparound services, meaning that you have taken a perspective on the issue of water from every angle, from every side. You, of course, maybe the most classic intervention in relation to water is the provision of boreholes and pumps. But as you shared at the beginning, that is not a permanent solution. And it faces many challenges between broken infrastructure, broken pumps, leaking pipes. Of course, it does not help if in the face of drought and climate change, there is no water for the pump to bring to the surface. There are ongoing practices in the area around water pumps that can pollute even the water that is coming from the pump, whether from open defecation or pit mining and other sources. So you have taken an amazing, comprehensive approach to address this challenge really from all sides. And I love especially the example of your kind of creative educational interventions involving drama and song and dance in order to introduce safer and healthier practices for both use of water and protection of water in school settings and other community settings. Really an amazing host of projects that address and contribute very meaningfully to goal number 6. And as you said, one of the big challenges that remains is that there is a need for more investment, more funding for this kind of, and you are striving in each aspect to fulfill the WASH standards, the national WASH standards. So seems to me that this is a call for greater political will and political investment, referring again to Ferdinand's statement earlier in the session that we can do it, it can be done, but of course it requires ambition and investment. So thank you for bringing much ambition and much investment from your congregation, and let us all continue to encourage that level of ambition and investment from our leaders and our communities as well. And now we will go to our next speaker for the day, which will take us back to Burkina Faso, as I invite Father Yameogo Sibi Basil, a Claretian missionary, to share with us. And I know he is on the call, but I'm not sure if he is able to speak or if we will once again hear from someone else. So whoever will be speaking. Oh, Basil, you are with
Je
us.
vais essayer,
Okay.
j'espère que la connexion ne me fera pas défaut.
You have the floor, Father Basil.
Bon, je peux parler. Si vous m'entendez,
He's asking if we can hear. Yeah, we can hear.
Yes, we hear
c'est
you.
bon? Ok, super. Alors, je suis le père Basile Yamego Sidi,
Okay, I
missionnaire
am
claretin en
Father
mission au Burkina Faso, précisément à
Sibi
la paroisse
Basile,
Notre-Dame de la
missionnaire
Miséricorde
chrétien
à
dans la,
Koutougou.
in
Ouais, il
the
y a de
parish
cela 1 an que
Our
je suis
Lady of
affecté.
Mercy.
Avant moi, il y avait le père Gaston Guigembe,
Before
voilà, qui
myself, there was
travaillait à
Father
l'essence
Gaston,
de Proclade à Burkina. Et donc voilà,
working
nous venons
also here,
d'arriver et nous sommes ravis, voilà, de prendre
and
part
we
à
are
ce
happy
parcours, voilà,
to
et
be here,
réfléchir sur les objectifs de développement durable.
thinking
Voilà.
and reflecting on the
D'accord. Et
development
depuis
goals.
2015, le Burkina Faso
Since
travaille pour
2015,
atteindre les
Burkina
objectifs
Faso has been
de
working
développement
toward
durable.
achieving
Donc
the
voilà
Sustainable
l'agenda
Development Goals
2030.
of
En
the
2024,
2030
notre
agenda.
pays a
In
tenu debout avec une
2024,
croissance de
our
5%
country
malgré
could
voilà, les épreuves
maintain his
liées à
5%
l'insécurité,
growth
également au
despite
climat.
the challenges posed by
Alors, à quoi
insecurity
on
and
dirait
climate change.
voilà, cette croissance si un enfant n'a pas d'eau propre pour boire, pour se laver les mains? Alors aujourd'hui, voilà, nous
So
voulons
today,
parler de l'eau.
I want
Voilà,
to
parce que
share with
l'eau, comme on
you
le dit,
a bit
c'est la vie.
about the
Sans
water,
l'eau,
because
il n'y a
water
pas de
is life.
développement. Sans
Without
l'eau, il n'y a pas
water,
de
we
vie.
don't have life
D'abord, où sommes-nous?
and development.
Nous avons avancé,
First, we
nous
have
avons
made
avancé,
progress.
nous pouvons le dire,
We
voilà,
can
avec le
say that
gouvernement. En 2023,
in
il
2023,
ressort 74% de nos écoles primaires
74%
qui ont
of
accès à
our
l'eau
elementary
potable.
schools
Alors,
had
on pourrait
access
dire que c'est
to
une grâce,
safe drinking water,
mais
and
bon,
we
la
could say
réalité
it's
nous
a
rattrape
blessing.
toujours.
But
Seulement
the
25%
reality
de la
catches
population
up
a un
something.
service
Only
d'assainissement géré
25%
en
of the
toute sécurité.
population has
Et plus
access to
grave,
safely
voilà,
managed
il ressort que
sanitation services.
21%
And more
ont un
seriously, only
dispositif pour
21%
se
have
laver
a
les
way
mains
to
avec
wash
voilà,
their
du savon.
hands
Et
with
là, déjà,
soap
cela
at
fait
home.
appel à la crise sanitaire. Cela
And
veut dire que
this
8%
means
en
that
estimation
8 out
sur
of
10
10
de la population se
people
lavent
in
les mains
Burkina
à savon
wash their
avec
hands
une
without
négligence,
soap.
et cela est
In
à
a
prendre en
country
compte.
where
Voilà, dans un
malaria
pays
and
où le
diarrhea
paludisme
still kill,
et,
and this is a
la
danger.
diarrhée tuent encore, nous pensons que cela est un danger. Alors, les
So,
défis. Le premier
what is the
défi,
challenge?
c'est la
The first
crise
challenge
sécuritaire.
is the security
Alors, nous avons plus de
crisis.
2 millions de nos frères
More
et
than 2
sœurs
million
qui
of
sont
our brothers and
déplacés internes,
sisters
c'est-à-dire
are
à l'intérieur du
displaced,
pays.
internally
Voilà,
displaced,
et
in
parfois on les
camps.
trouve dans des camps, voilà, 10 camps de déplacés,
They
où,
stay in
voilà,
camps.
ils vivent un véritable calvaire. Parfois, dans des zones,
And
il n'y a pas de, il y a des
they,
mésententes entre
the
les
access to
autochtones
water
et les
is a
déplacés.
real ordeal.
Voilà, entre les
In some
autochtones et
areas, there
voilà
are
ceux
tensions between local
qui sont appelés
residents and the
déplacés de guerre.
displaced.
Voilà, dans les écoles,
As for
plus
schools,
de
more than
5013, 5319 voilà, sont
are
fermés à cause de
closed,
la crise et celles
and
qui restent ne souvent pas
those
de
that
latrines
remain
séparées
often
des
lack
filles. Et cela
separate
pourrait entraîner d'autres
latrines
dangers.
for
Le
girls.
deuxième défi, c'est le
And the second
financement.
challenge is
Les
funding.
partenaires
partners are only providing 15% of what we are asking for. So we cannot cover all what the projects need. So we have to work a lot in finding funding. And when we don't have rain, it becomes more difficult. And you need to go very deep to find water. So what is our response? The answer won't come solely from the government or the United Nations. It will come from us. And not only from outside. And our hands. So we try to accompany the population, to put all our strength together, and we also try to protect our water sources, and we try to raise awareness among every mother, every young person about hand washing, because investing in water and sanitation means investing in health, in girls' education, in human dignity, and that's what leaving no one behind means. And for our community here, we are working with Proclate Burkina to alleviate the hardships faced by our communities. And with other people, we are working with other partners, including Proclate. We have secured at least 5 boreholes and a few fountains, much to the delight of our brothers and sisters. And we have organized more than 170 women into a cooperative in 2 villages, along with the construction of boreholes. They are divided in 2 groups. These women, in order to have to boreholes to enable them to farm, especially during the dry season. Now I am not hearing. Wait a second, I will tell him.
C'est bon? Maintenant, c'est bon?
Yeah, there was a moment when we couldn't hear.
Nous avons
Oui, c'est bon.
Yeah. Now it's okay. So we have raised awareness in the community about the rational use of this resource, the water. We have also appealed to certain individuals to donate a borehole or a latrine to their home villages or to a community. So sometimes we ask that. In conclusion, sustainable development is not measured only by growth rates, nor by speeches and conferences. It is measured by concrete actions such as a running tap in a school, or a courtyard, a clean latrine in a village, or a child that knows how to wash his hands with soap, meaning that water is the life of humankind and of every living being. And if we want to achieve the goals by 2030, we must make every drop of water an act of justice and peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father Basil. You had a very poetic ending to your statement there to say, we have for the last couple of weeks heard many statements, many speeches. Of course, that is the everyday activity inside the United Nations. And yet, you raised the important point that there is a need for action at many levels in order to see real sustainable development in the way that you describe it, to see the effect that we all want to see in all of our communities. We all want to see a running tap, a working latrine. We want to see people, children, women, men, who have the knowledge to wash their hands and the means to do that, which is not possible for, as you said, 8 out of 10 people in their homes in Burkina. So I want to commend your efforts at the community level to raise awareness and to mobilize communities for the sake of taking action and realizing sustainable development in these ways at the community level. And at the same time, for bringing your experience into this conversation, for reaching out to partners and networks, as you mentioned you do, and recognizing, yes, there is action to be done locally, and also there is a need to partner with broader groups and broader networks to bring resources and insight from out. And it is also important for us to engage in these spaces for dialogue because there are the bigger challenges of, for example, climate change that is affecting the availability of water everywhere. And of course, this is a problem for all of us to solve together. There is no one community that can make enough change to respond to the kind of prolonged drought and then huge storms and rainfalls that we are now seeing everywhere. So thank you for acting on all levels and having that kind of multi-level perspective in your approach to sustainable development. And thank you for being here to share with us today. And now we will hear from our final speaker for today, Sister Ana Elena Andreau, who is a member of the Religious of the Sacred Heart of Mary, and she is joining us today from Brazil. So, Sister Ana Helena, you have the floor.
Bom dia, boa tarde.
Good morning, good
Eu
afternoon.
não tenho slides,
Don't
apenas
have
algumas
slides.
fotografias
I only have some
e a
photographs
minha voz.
and my voice.
Mas eu fui muito tocada por essa fala do Basile,
I was very touched by
porque eu
this
também
talk
moro
of
numa
Basile
região
because I
rural
also live in a rural
e que
area
o rio
and the
foi
river
atingido por uma
was
mineradora do estado de Minas Gerais,
polluted
trazendo
by
dejetos
a mining
e
company from the
trouxe
state of Minas,
foi um
and
grande
this
desastre.
was a huge
E
disaster
realmente tocou
and
muito na
really
saúde,
it
nos
impacted the health
sonhos do povo, mas sobretudo das
and the
mulheres.
dreams
Então,
of
Basílio, você
people,
me tocou
especially women. So,
profundamente.
Basílio, you
Mas eu
touched
vou
me
tentar
deeply,
colocar a
but I'm
imensidão
going
do
to
meu
try
país.
and talk
Eu
about
vou
my
primeiro
country.
fazer uma
First of all, I'm
introdução
going to make an
e
introduction,
depois eu vou
and
falar na
afterwards I'm going to
metodologia que a
talk
própria
about the
Teresa nos colocou, do
methodology
país
that
do estado e do município onde eu estou, que eu
country, the
moro hoje.
state, and the
Então,
municipality
o
where I live
Brasil,
today.
ele decidiu
Brazil
apresentar
has
o relatório
decided
nacional
to
voluntário
present the
para
National Volunteer
demonstrar a
Report to
retomada do
demonstrate
compromisso
the
do
uptake
país
of the
com o
commitment of the
desenvolvimento
country
sustentável e
with
a Agenda
sustainable
30
development and the
para
Agenda
justamente comunicar
30 to
mundialmente a situação
communicate
do
worldwide
país
the
e sua
situation of the
relação com a
country
agenda
and its
e a sua
relationship with the
imagem
agenda
internacional
and its
como
international image
protagonista da
as
agenda geral
protagonists of the general
do
agenda of
desenvolvimento e para
development,
restabelecer
and also to
também as
reestablish
dificuldades
the
enfrentadas nos
challenges
anos de
that we've had
2016 a
from
2022, que foi muito
2016 to
doloroso.
2022, which was very
Assim, o
painful.
governo ele
Therefore,
reconstrói a Comissão Nacional
the
dos
National
ODS.
Commission
Exemplo disso
of
é
these
o
goals,
combate à fome,
so
à pobreza
it
e às
relates to fighting
desigualdades,
famine,
retomando o
poverty, and
programa Minha
inequality,
Casa Minha Vida,
taking up
políticas
the program My
positivas de
House, My Life,
preservação do patrimônio cultural, natural e
preserving
vários programas na área
cultural
da saúde e da
assets and
educação,
several programs in health
agricultura
and
e
education,
desenvolvimento
agriculture,
sustentável. E cria também
and
mais
the
um ODS
the
18,
sustainable
que é a questão da
vision,
igualdade
which
racial.
creates one
Ele
more
também
goal, which is
restabelece
racial
os
equality.
fóruns, o
It also
Conselho para a Participação
re-establishes the forum,
Popular, a
the
Comissão
board for
Nacional para
public
os
participation,
objetivos
the
do
National Commission,
ODS com
and the
subcomissões nos
goals
estados
with
para garantir a abordagem dos
conditions to
temas e
guarantee
avaliação dos objetivos em cada
approach
secretaria.
and
Uma boa notícia que nos foi
validate
dada
the
agora, depois
goals in
da
each
reunião da
secretariat.
FAO, que o Brasil saiu
After
da fome e da pobreza.
meeting
São
of the
137
related
milhões de
to
brasileiros e
famine, we
brasileiras
have
que têm
137
alimentação
million Brazilians
saudável,
who have
balanceada.
healthy food,
E a
healthy and balanced
agricultura
food,
entra nessa
and
política
the
pública.
agriculture also
E essa é uma
joins this
terceira boa
political
notícia,
policy.
porque
This is
há
the third
finanças
good
para as
news
mulheres
because
rurais, para
finances
uma
for
cesta de
rural
ações,
women,
para
there are
créditos, para
different
quintais
actions that give them
produtivos e
credit
acesso à terra.
so that they can
Para nós,
produce and
irmãs do
access
Sagrado Coração
land.
de Maria, é
For us,
muito
sisters of the
importante,
Sacred Heart of
porque
Mary,
nós
it's very important
trabalhamos
because
com os
we work
atingidos pelas
with
mineradoras
those
e as
that
mulheres sem
suffered
terra.
from the mining
Então,
companies and
agora eu vou
women who have no
apresentar a nível
land.
de Brasil
So now I'm going to
o
present to
ODS
you
6.
the
É
goal
para
number
garantir
6 to
disponibilidade,
guarantee
manejo
availability
sustentável
and
da
sustainable
água
management of
e
water
saneamento para
and
todos.
sanitary conditions for everyone.
Em 2017,
In
cerca de
2017,
97% da população
97%
brasileira
of the Brazilian
utilizava de
population
serviços de água potável
used drinking water
geridos de forma
services
segura.
managed in a safe
Cerca de
way.
35% da
Around
população
35% of the
vive
population
em municípios com
lives
baixa
in
garantia
municipalities
hídrica,
with a low hydric
sujeitos e
guarantee,
racionamentos,
subject
colapsos
to
ou alertas de
rationing,
períodos de seca.
collapses, or warnings
Aproximadamente
periods of drought.
45% da
About
população
45% of the population
reside em localidades
resides in
cujo sistema de
locations where
abastecimento
the supply
necessita de
system
ampliação e de
needs
cuidados.
broadening and
Permanecem
needs care.
desafios para
So we have
assegurar o acesso
challenges to
universal,
assure the universal
equitativo e de
access
qualidade da água,
and
independente das
access
condições
to water of
sociais,
quality,
econômicas,
independent of the
culturais, de
social and
gênero e
economical and cultural
etnia. Entre 2009 e
issues. Between
2017, houve um
2009 and
crescimento
2017,
de
there was
5 pontos
growth of 5
percentuais, que
percentage points
representa
that
25
represent
milhões de pessoas que
25
têm
million
acesso e
people
serviço
that have
seguro de
access
abastecimento da água.
to safe
Porém, nós temos
water.
desafios.
But we
Nós
still
temos
have
primeiro um
challenges.
desafio que é a ausência de
The first
dados
one is
sobre a
lack of
qualidade da água
numbers, lack of data
consumida
about the
pela
quality of the water that's
população,
consumed by the
abastecida
population,
por redes públicas
and
e por
also
fontes alternativas
the
como
public
poços,
supply nascentes e cisternas. Em 2017, apenas 86% dos domicílios eram atendidos pela rede pública, recebiam água diariamente. No meu estado, os avanços foi a implementação do programa para a conservação e a revitalização das bacias hidrográficas, voltados para a recuperação, preservação e conservação das bacias hidrográficas. Todo mundo conhece o Brasil como uma grande quantidade de águas, muitos rios, mas nós temos que avaliar até que ponto nós temos essa qualidade de fato de água. E também o fortalecimento da estrutura da Agência Estadual de Recursos Hídricos e a governança do sistema estadual da gestão dos recursos hídricos. Precisamos aperfeiçoar o monitoramento desses recursos e a implantação de sistema de alertas para eventos hidrológicos e extremos em épocas de seca. Desenvolvimento das ações de reflorestamento, conservação de água e solo, controle dos poluentes, assistência técnica, extensão rural e educação ambiental. Os nossos desafios: fortalecer continuamente a gestão integradas e sustentáveis dos recursos hídricos, ampliar as ações de conservação ambiental e monitorar a recuperação das bacias hidrográficas. Aqui em Linhares, onde eu moro, nós temos 68 lagoas. Mas, depois do rompimento da barragem, do crime da Samarco, foi criado na minha região um coletivo que nós chamamos o Coletivo do Rio Doce, que é um rio que vem de Minas Gerais e vem até o Espírito Santo, onde nós reunimos artistas, técnicos e ativistas para realizar o diagnóstico participativo das comunidades atingidas. Esse grande crime foi de uma mineradora chamada Samarco. Então, na constituição da rede Regenera Rio Doce, voltada para a elaboração de ações regenerativas, nós criamos, então, o grupo do bem viver, envolvendo temas como a água, as plantas medicinais, a cultura, a saúde e a recuperação ambiental. O que nós temos como desafio? Planejar e implementar ações permanentes de regeneração ambiental e social frente aos impactos dos rejeitos da mineração que hoje os rios continuam recebendo diariamente e quando vêm chuvas, esses dejetos vêm à tona, os minérios, os ferros, os mercúrios e outros produtos que vêm quando o rio tem enchente, então sobe e atinge toda a população que está na beira-rio. Então, nós precisamos fortalecer as redes comunitárias de recuperação dos territórios atingidos. E nós temos que, então, trabalhar numa rede para a gestão ambiental para a recuperação desses rios. E na gestão da minha instituição, nós trabalhamos desde o ano passado os ODS em todas as escolas, projetos e família ampliada. Então, nós precisamos fazer a implementação, nós trabalhamos para que haja a implementação de sistemas de captação da água da chuva para atividades de limpeza, para irrigação das hortas e jardins, além das políticas de consumo consciente, com a instalação de equipamentos para economizar a água. E também precisamos de um eficiente energético, de adoção de fontes de energias renováveis, solar, para a implementação desses programas e maior conscientização para a redução tanto da energia quanto da água. E como desafio a nível de Brasil, nós continuamos ainda com muitos desafios na questão do racismo sistêmico e ambiental, e a questão da segurança, que cresce o número também da população em situação de rua, também muito uso de agrotóxicos em cima realmente dos rios e das terras produtivas, a questão do Pantanal, saneamento básico para as populações mais vulneráveis, a desigualdade de gênero e alto nível do feminicídio, que isso infelizmente nos traz muita tristeza, com esse alto número que todo dia nos surpreende no Brasil e no meu estado. Obrigada pela atenção.
So that's what I had to say, and thank you very much for your attention.
As photografias.
Thank you, Ana Helena. And I do have the photos that you had shared with Sister Veronica. I will put them on the screen now if you would like to just kind of walk us through and tell us what we are seeing in each of them. I will have them on the screen in a moment.
Obrigada. Então, está aí os ODS trabalhado em todas as nossas, a formação, né, dos nossos educadores, para que de fato eles trabalhassem tanto nas escolas, nos projetos, nas comunidades onde nós estamos inseridos. Pode passar?
You can go to the next slide.
Nós estamos numa ação também em conjunto com sindicatos, com o movimento dos atingidos, com técnicos, para a gente estar avaliando a questão, como os nossos rios, como nós temos que trabalhar a agricultura no Sindicato dos Trabalhadores Rurais. E também essa foi uma moção que nós mandamos para Brasília, para que, de fato, as nossas florestas ficassem longe das queimadas e também que elas fossem uma prioridade para o nosso país.
Burning, and that it also becomes a priority for our country.
Aí as escolas que participaram da COP30
in the COP30, the climate event.
São crianças que estão trabalhando na questão do verde e na recuperação de rios nos projetos. Em 2 projetos nós temos um trabalho de revitalização dos rios.
Revitalization
São projetos que estão na periferia das cidades.
So these are projects that are in the periphery of towns.
E aí o trabalho de filtros para água contaminadas por metais pesados, alumínio, ferro, mercúrio, que eu falei. Então, esse é uma equipe de trabalho em regência, onde realmente os dejetos, os mercúrios, o zinco, tudo chegou, e aí foi feita uma proposta bem popular de filtração de filtros para as águas contaminadas, e que está dando muito resultado. O que a gente precisa é realmente de mais gente trabalhando nesse sentido, e também a questão do dinheiro, que às vezes não chega para eles fazerem essa manutenção.
That sometimes does not reach for this maintenance.
E tudo isso. Obrigada.
All right. And that was the end of our photos.
Bom, esse foi o final das nossas fotos.
So thank you very much, Sister Ana Helena, for sharing with us your deep analytical approach to the specific challenges that affect so many communities around the world, but are certainly a major concern for so many in Brazil, where there have been such massive mining projects and also significant disasters that have resulted from those projects and have affected communities immediately in a devastating way, but also that in which the devastation has lasted for decades or generations. And in fact, you make a very important connection between goal number 6 and goal number 7, in that we do need to address one of our root causes of water damage and damage to rivers, is in fact our reliance on the kinds of energy that require mining projects and mining industrial activity that presents such a great risk for that kind of disaster and that kind of harm in communities. And we know mining is for more than energy, but that is one of the main reasons that we have so many dangerous mining projects that are endangering our communities and our waterways, our water systems. So a very important connection. And I also want to thank you for highlighting again that the social impacts of our shortcomings with respect to water do not affect every group of people in the same way. You highlighted in particular the reality in Brazil is that in addition to affecting women and girls, which others also mentioned today, in a particularly harmful way, that you also see greater impact in Brazil on communities of color, peoples who are of African descent, and you also see it having different effects on people who have a different economic status, who have different levels of income and economic opportunity. So when we address issues of water and how they affect our communities, we are also addressing these important, significant social inequalities. And now we do have some time available, as I know we have all heard a lot of great information, many hopeful practices and examples of good work being done to address challenges related to water and sanitation. And I would like to invite anyone in the room who may have either a question or a comment that with which you would like to respond to anyone who spoke today. I would like to invite you to share that question or comment. And you can do that either by typing into the chat box, or if you would like, you can also raise your hand to ask to speak. And if your camera is on, you can do it with your real live hand. Or if your camera is not on, you can raise your digital hand by clicking on the raise hand button, which you will find underneath the more button, which has 3 small dots, and then reactions, and then raise hand. Or you may just have a button that says raise hand, depending on what kind of device you are using. So I do see one hand from Carmelo Galdos. So please, Carmelo, go ahead.
Buenos días, buenas
Good
tardes
morning,
para
good
todos
afternoon,
ustedes.
good
Soy
evening,
el hermano
everyone.
Carmelo Galdós, hermano
I
menor
am
franciscano
Brother
en Bolivia.
Carmelo Galdós. I'm a minor friar, a Franciscan friar, and I'm in
Bolivia
Bolivia.
tiene unas
Bolivia
dimensiones muy grandes en cuestiones
is
también
a big
de agua
country,
potable.
but we
Sin
also have big
embargo, sobre todo
issues
por las
about
nieves y los
drinkable water,
subsuelos muy
specifically
abiertos y
due
también la
to
participación
snow and
en
rivers
todo lo que
which
es
are very
precisamente
open, and
la población de la
also
Amazonía y el
that
agua
is
de la
also
Amazonía.
affecting the population
El
in the
problema, o sea,
Amazon.
tenemos mucha agua.
In the
El problema que
Amazonian.
tenemos
We
es que
have
está
a
muy
lot of
contaminada
water,
también
but
por
the
la acción
problem is that
minera.
it is very
Entonces, principalmente la
contaminated
acción
by
minera en
mining
Bolivia
enterprises as well.
está contaminando
So,
mucho de
mining
mucho
actions
de
in
nuestra
Bolivia
agua
are
y
contaminating
el
our
gran problema es
water,
precisamente cómo
and the
podemos
big
preservar
challenge is
el
how
agua.
to
Estamos
preserve
también
water.
enfrentando
We
situaciones
are
muy
also
graves
facing
próximamente de lo que significa
serious
precisamente el fenómeno del
situations
niño y un super niño que va a
due
generar
to the El
precisamente un
Nino
agotamiento también
situation.
del agua porque
Now,
va a
a
haber
super Nino is
muy
coming that
pocas
is going
lluvias.
to accelerate
Se
the
está
problem
pensando que en el
with the
próximo
water
invierno va
because
a haber muy poca
waterfall is
lluvia y
going
por lo
to
tanto esto va a
diminish
dejar agotadas muchos de
considerably
los
this
recursos
year and the next
naturales
year,
que
and
podríamos
many of
tener
our
del agua.
natural
Esto es un
resources,
poquito muy
natural resources
brevemente
are
para
going to
compartir con
diminish.
ustedes el
So
problema del
if
agua
I
aquí en
just wanted
Bolivia
to
o la
take the floor
situación del agua
to
que
share with
vivimos en
you the
Bolivia.
problem and the
Gracias.
challenges that we are facing in regard to water here in Bolivia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Carmelo. And yes, as that theme of climate moves through every intervention that we have heard today and elevates, I believe, the concern that you present, which is that those of us who are in some kind of ministry that relates to water, I think we will continue to see an increasing need for emphasis on water collection in times of intense rainfall and water purification to be able to utilize that water we have saved as some of our older interventions like seeking groundwater will yield less benefit than they have in the past. So we all face that challenge to evolution in our approach, even as we all seek to do our part, whatever it may be, to try to reduce that change in our climate that is causing so much chaos in so many different ways. Thank you, brother. Is there anyone else that would like to comment? Yes, Katie, please go ahead.
I just want to speak aloud one of the quick questions that was dropped in the chat box so we can have the benefit of having it interpreted for everyone. The question came from Angelica, specifically directed towards Father Basile. She was very inspired by a quote in your presentation, "Make every drop of water an act of justice and peace." So Angelica is wondering if she can use and share that quote.
Father Basile, are you still with us? Oh, yes, there you are.
Je suis encore là, sans problème.
Yeah, without
est un acte de justice et de paix.
yeah, any problem with using my expression that every drop is an act of justice and peace. Thank you.
C'est bon?
It's okay,
Okay,
he's
voilà.
asking.
On peut employer sans
Yes, we
problème.
heard you. Thank you very much.
No problem with using my quotation.
Merci, Father Basile, c'est bon.
Are there any other questions or comments? Oh, yes, I see your hand, Sister Miriam. Go ahead.
Yes, greetings everyone. I'm very much impressed by the presentations that the different presenters made. I have a feel that people are really passionate about making change or a move to change and to have a better world wherever we are. I'm really grateful. I've actually learned a lot from what is happening in different countries and the steps they are taking to make life better for others. I know we are collaborating, working with different people, not for our selfish interests, but for the good of everyone. So I would encourage all of us that we work together so that at least we save one or two souls. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thanks, Sister Miriam, and for your contribution today as well. Yes, I see the hand of Prakash from the Mary Ward Center. Please go ahead, Prakash.
Yeah, thank you to all the speakers for sharing. I am a little kind of surprised that, the social scientists of the world say that the next world war will not be about oil, but will be about water. Because as the water gets depleted in the world, this will be one of the big, big issues. So I'm kind of wondering through the speakers that there was been nobody mentioned this, that I know they're all trying to conserve water, but the urgency of saving water.
Yes, that is an emerging, well, I hesitate to call it an emerging concern in that we know we have been gathering data on it for such a long time. And in fact, we have had information about that concern for a long time. And so in many cases, it has been, the lack of action has not been the result of lack of information, but perhaps a lack of will in more cases. But I think you may get a response to that from Ferdinand. So I'm going to pause and hand it along. Ferdinand?
It's actually Helga.
Helga. Okay, please, Helga.
Yeah, because I joined this European conference in Geneva before we had this HLPF in New York, and they presented a lot of projects where countries had to work together to share water resources. For example, if they had a great basin where the country border went straight through. So they had to share this basin and work together. And they said, this is really a project which brings neighbors together. So that's the opposite of warring and creating war. And I thought this is very interesting, and yeah, it gives a lot of hope hearing that. So that was my response or my addition to Prakash. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, that's such a wonderful point, Helga, that any any shall I say scarcity or shortage or challenge where we feel we do not have enough of something, we can choose to see it two different ways, and one of them is it's a cause for a fight, and the other is that it is a cause for new, deeper unity. And if we know what is good for us, we will choose the latter for many reasons, but not least of all, that especially in the issue of water, or the matter of water, we know that if we win and dominate the water from our neighbor today, but continue on living the way we have been living, it is only a matter of time before even that water is exhausted and our problem returns to us. So choosing the latter approach of seeing the challenge as a call to unity and to teamwork and to collaboration is certainly the path of life the only path forward with any longevity. So thank you for reminding us there are two ways to see each of these kinds of challenges. I see the hand of Rampe. Rampe Global.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's Rampesh over here. I'm a Jesuit priest based in Nairobi in Kenya. I was just wondering if, any of you have seen this UN report that came out earlier on this year, which reports that we have actually entered an era of global water bankruptcy. It's no longer an issue of crisis, but according to the report, we have passed the crisis point and now we are in the bankruptcy era. And it really paints a horrific picture. But I just wanted to mention that quickly. But my concern is how can we, especially, work together to make sure that, talking about justice, that those who do not have access to safe drinking water, they are given or they have access to that right of water. Because Africa at the moment, the African Union has chosen 2026 as the year of water, the theme of water for 2026. And I don't hear or I don't see us really making enough noise about it to make sure that there's improvement. Yes, we work in our different corners, like Sister Miriam was saying, how they promoting access to water in Zambia and Burkina Faso, what is happening. But we don't really have a concerted and collaborated effort which really highlights the problem. Because in 2024, I think there was a report that came out saying that when you look at SDG 6 with regards to sub-Saharan Africa, in 2024, we're sitting at less than 40% of implementation or achieving that SDG 6. And we are like, 6 years from the deadline, as it were? So there's a huge challenge. There is huge violation of the right to access to water. And so my question is, what can we do to improve that and to challenge those who are in authority? Well, quite often you realize that it's an issue of poor and unethical governance, which impedes access to water. It's not like yes, we may have a challenge of resources, but quite often it's governance, poor governance, unethical governance that impedes people to have access to safe and drinking water. And I thought I should bring that, and maybe we can also think about how can we change these structures of sin into structures of grace for people to be able to have their rights respected and their dignity. Thank you.
That's a beautiful phrase to go with your important question, Rampe, which is, how do we turn a structure of sin to a structure of grace, which reminds us that this is really spiritual work we are doing when we try to change systems and open hearts and minds to a different way of governing. So, well, I'll go to our other participants and see if we reach some ideas in response to that great question. Rohan?
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all. I am Rohan Dominic, the UN representative of the Claretians here in New York. I just want to remind all the participants and all those who are interested in water justice, water action, that there will be a UN water conference. The third World Water Conference, UN conference, will be taking place in the month of December from 8th to the 10th in Abu Dhabi. Hopefully, the global situation will allow to have the conference in Abu Dhabi. But it is interesting because the conference will take place under 6 themes of water: water for people, water for prosperity, water for planet, water for cooperation, water for multilateral processes, and investments for water. So under 6 themes, so it will be interesting to see how the globally how we are going to address this problem of water, and see how what as stakeholders, as civil society, how we can go about in the future to make water for all. So yeah, I invite you all to just check with the UN websites to see about this water conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohan. And in answer to our question of what we can do to build political will, maybe to whatever extent it is possible in each of our countries, we could try to communicate with our leaders, whether they are local or regional or national leaders, in order to both encourage their participation in this water conference, but also to try to articulate some of our expectations of their participation. We could cite, for example, some of the facts and challenges that we have mentioned today, and to say, when you go to that conference, we don't want you to paint a picture of everything that is working well. We want you to also discuss the challenges and seek solutions from your colleagues. We want you to speak the truth so that we can really solve the problem together. As that is so often the lack of outcome that we may see from a major conference, is because the leaders are not willing to discuss what is not going well, or they're not willing to discuss where they have made an attempt to solve a problem, but they have not failed, or they have failed, or they have not succeeded as much as they hoped. So perhaps we can each try to set those expectations for our own political leaders, to say, this is what we know to be true, and we expect you to address it in a meaningful way. But that will look different for each of us in each of our different contexts, depending on what our political structure looks like and what possibilities for expression of our opinions are available to us. I see the hand of Carol D'Angelo. Please go ahead, Carol.
I'll try to make this brief because I know it's been long. But first of all, I'm not really working at the UN level. I work more, I'm going to say, local, regional level. And because of this, I'm a Sister of Charity of New York, part of the Sisters of Charity Federation at the UN. But this was excellent, and I'm, expecting all the others this week to be just as good. But why I found this very interesting and I thought I would share is, it's so important to hear the global issues. This is so critical. And I am also thinking now, because I work more on the local, regional, and I'll say some of the national issues, I just want to tie in, because water is so sacred and it is that gift of life to us. Without it, we wouldn't be alive. We here are also realizing the problem with plastics and how everything is connected. So how difficult it is to integrate this. I'm speaking now as a North American US citizen, the consumeristic lifestyle that we have and how that impacts everyone. And so I would just like to put in a plea that thank you for what you're doing, and how important it is for us, and so many groups are working on this, to show the integration between the PFASs that are appearing even here in we who have a better, although it's an aging water infrastructure, how PFASs and leachate is just, and the waste management facilities are just creating very difficult drinking water for so many people. And so I guess it's so very good to hear what you're saying, but also to recognize we don't do this alone. And as people of faith, how important it is, at least in the US, I cannot speak for other countries, how we engage with Sierra Club, Food and Water Watch, more localized regional teams in New York Water Watch that is just doing so much to really raise the issue of water and what's needed. So I just wanted to bring in that voice and the extractivism problem, because we are part of it, but we also know that our own government now is making it much more difficult with their lowering the standards of quality of water, and so many things that are making it more difficult to have the infrastructure that we want for the clean water and other areas. So anyway, sorry that was too long, but I just wanted to bring this voice in.
Thanks, Carol. No, not too long. You've woven in another element of concern for water, which relates to solid waste management, which is becoming a problem everywhere in the world, not only the countries that historically have been creating and consuming so much plastic, but now plastic is everywhere. It is a part of life everywhere. And we know that even if we live in a part of the world where we can leave it out by the street and it disappears, it does not really disappear. It does have a destination. And too often that destination is in some kind of waterway. And it is certainly a persistent, long-lived pollutant that is of great concern to all of us, as whether it's in our own community or out in the oceans that we share. So thank you for raising that as well. And one other quick word about ways to engage with water and to follow up on this concern. I want to mention, for those who may not be familiar, that there is a working group of NGOs that are collaborating in New York City around the UN community. And it's called the NGO Mining Working Group. And they have been working for over a decade now, I think. Definitely over a decade, maybe closer to 15 years or more, with a special focus on the human right to water, and particularly the relationship between water and mining or extractive activities. And many of the religious NGOs representing your congregations at the UN have formed that group and continue to lead that group. And so they are always developing new initiatives and events and seeking meetings to put forward some of the concerns that have been expressed among us today. So if you have a representative for your congregation at the UN, that is also a person that you can communicate with about concerns related to water, and with whom you can continue to offer your own experiences and insights and good practices. So that is a way we can continue to collaborate from wherever you are to the level of the United Nations, to continue to put forward our voice of concern for protecting the human right to water and protecting our water for the good of all living species in our world. And with that, we have filled our time available for today, but I want to thank you all very much for your presence, for your thoughtful contributions, for your attentive listening, and special thanks to all who served as speakers today, who prepared very insightful presentations for us, and more importantly, thank you for the work you all are doing all year long that you shared with us today, because your ongoing work is what creates transformation. And of course, also big thanks to our team of interpreters, Anna, Vivian, and Gabriella, who have made it possible for us to communicate across so many continents and different language communities today. Thank you very much, and I hope that you will all join us tomorrow if you are able. We will be meeting at the same time as today, and we will continue to consider projects related to water and sanitation, but we will also be considering some insights and projects related to SDG number 7, which is access to affordable and clean energy for all. So if you are able, please join us at the same time tomorrow as we continue to discuss Sustainable Development Goals 6 and 7. Thank you very much. Have a good remainder of your day or your night.
Obrigada.
Thank you.